So, I have already filmed a video about Taraswrld, and I'm in the process of editing it. I messed up editing it, and I have to go back and fix things and fix the audio on things. Anyway, so when I filmed my original video, quite literally, let me fix this light real quick. I'm getting a ring light later today, or tomorrow, so I don't have to use my arm on my household light. Anyway, so I have already filmed a video about her, and I quite literally, when I filmed that, I literally thought it would be the last video. I don't know why I thought that, because this woman likes to drag out anything forever. So, for the most part, there was another video I didn't cover in that, and I kept saying I had 7 videos. And looking back, in the time, I was like, okay, why? When I got done, I was like, why do I keep saying I have 7 videos? There is no more. And then when I was editing, I had all the videos in like a folder to put in my video when I was editing. And I was like, where's the footage for this video? Like, where's the footage of me reacting to this video? It wasn't there. Long story short, she made a video about, like, not going in her comment section, and if she does, she has to Venmo someone every time she does. Like, girl, I'm never in anyone else's comment section for the most part. What do you mean you're in yours? And you need to Venmo someone to remind you not to go in your comment section. Anyway, I thought that was kind of, well, like, I don't know. There's not much for me to say on that. It just seems a little, I don't know. Oh, sorry. God damn it. I need to make it to where I can put my legs up so I'm not so uncomfortable. But I'll cut all that out. Anyway, we'll start over. Oh, my Xbox. Anyway, so I filmed a video the other day about Taraswrld, and I'm in the process of editing it, and I was like, hopefully this is the last of it, and this is over. This is stupid. This is over her shirt, and there's a lot of theories of whether she was a nurse or what, and I can't speak to any of that. I haven't done a lot of research. Quite frankly, at this point, I'm so annoyed that I don't care to. Regardless, in my personal opinion, regardless, it's fucking ridiculous, and maybe I should not cuss, but anyway, it's ridiculous regardless. So I was hoping it would be the last of it, and anyway, so Tana Mojo is the former creator of Cancelled. I think they ended their podcast this past year, and her co-host was Brooke Schofield. Anyway, so, like, I think their podcast ended at the end of 2025, or in the fall of 2025. I think it was in October at some point. I don't know the exact date. Anyway, Tana comes out with this video basically rambling about current events, things that are being talked about a lot. And one of those things happened to be about the shirt with Taraswrld. And she brought up quite a few points that I had felt very similarly on. And one was like the power dynamic with her fans, and that you make enough money that you could pay for a stylist. And I didn't even think that far forward, because as a creator, I'm nowhere near that. I'm just starting out. Anyway, so Tana put out that video, and it has been known. I mean, Tara mentioned it in a YouTube video that was gonna put a clip in, but it basically was the same exact thing, minus the fact that she brought up Tana Mojo, and that how people say, oh, you got very similar mannerisms and stuff. And I would say that maybe when, like, in the past to Tana, but Tana, as much as, like, she still is in, like, the drama, she's growing a lot. So the stuff that she did at 18 and 17 and whatever when she first started on the internet. She doesn't quite do those things as much anymore. And granted, we can criticize her for past behavior, and she has her own scandals and that, need to be held accountable for. At this moment in this topic, it's besides the point. She brought up a lot of good points about the fact that Tara could have got a stylist.
Taraswrld halter top. I debated making a video about this for a very long time, and by that I mean 4 days. I was going to text her because I do feel bad. She has shown a lot of support to me and to Canceled and just different things, and I didn't want her to think I was just piling on top of a hate train, because I don't think that's ever the right thing to do to anyone. I think the point of like comments and hate and different things like that are hopefully to give people constructive criticism to help them grow. However, I think she just does not want to take that. It's a lot easier for her, I think, to take the route of everyone just hates me and that's just the way it is, which is very hard to watch. I do not think that we as influencers or celebrities should be asking to borrow things from our fans. I feel like my fans are my friends. We have whenever someone comes up to me and says like, oh, this is parasocial, I always say, I don't think it's parasocial. I share everything, you share everything with me. We do have a very friendship-like bond, but I also understand that as the person on the opposite side of the power imbalance, that there are certain lines I cannot cross with my fans, because that's what it is. It's a power imbalance. They are a fan of me and I cannot take advantage of them. Part of me also thinks that this entire thing is class A rage bait. Like, put it on her IMDb and give her an Oscar. / is she the nurse? / like all of these, because she's done a lot of calculated things before on the internet and has said that she does those to make money to pay for certain things, whether it's Harry Styles or her mortgage, If it isn't rage bait, I just simply don't understand it. You have all the power, money, agency, and tools to hire a stylist to source you the exact same top or something similar, to find it for sale online in another way, etc. Or to get a different top. It would be one thing. I was trying to rationalize it too. It's like if you were looking for a 1 of 10 item and maybe it was your 21st birthday and you had a whole photo shoot that was relying around this 1 of 10 item and you really couldn't find it, but then still it's just like, get another thing. All that for that, I don't know. I think there is something psychologically wrong about immediately resulting to someone who could just be going through something, even if it's your friend that you know in real life or this fan that is borrowing something, to immediately resort to someone kind of ghosting you or not showing up or whatever, to them being a hater, not to step into their shoes and think maybe what else happened to where she could not deliver this for me. Instead of, I think that just shows a lot into her mindset. The immediate hater zone makes me sad, because it makes me sad. But I also have to remember with a lot of these things, like, I'm 27 and I went through a lot of similar things on the internet, but I did have to read the comments and think maybe if there's a general consensus about me, there is something that I need to grow and work on, and not just resort to like I am the way I am and never change, but still trying to give grace because young.
Heck, she could have tried to buy the shirt. Find one similar. Go to the fucking mall. So basically she's saying like, girl, you are in a place of power, you have a lot of money, you should not be asking your fans for anything. And I can't remember if she brought this up, but basically you should have a healthy, boundary with your fans, that they're not your friends or your followers. And I said that so many times. It's like, your followers and your viewers and your audience is not your friends. You can foster a very unhealthy parasocial relationship and expectations that you can't meet, and expectations that your friends, and that could lead to like just scary things, or like a lot of, you need a healthy boundary with your audience to maintain your own personal private life. Because as much as, like, speaking from my personal point of view, I enjoy creating videos, I enjoy watching it, I also do hope to be able to make this a job for myself, because, like, I'm interested in it, something I'm passionate about, But at the same time, like, I was even talking to my friend recently about, like, the expectations of, like, how I want to interact with my audience and my viewers, and the fact that I want to maintain my privacy as much as I can and make sure that my friends and my close people in my life still have their privacy too, because it's important, because as much as I'm choosing very well knowingly going down this path, I want them to be able to maintain their privacy and everything in their life. I don't know how much I'm going to put in that, because I don't really basically because I'm choosing to be a creator doesn't mean they are, okay? So I need that healthy boundary with my audience to know, like, yeah, you're interacting with me, you are in your audience. And I think that's something that early creators or TikTokers, because of the type of environment it was, like when TikTok came about and early YouTube creators had come in, when YouTube was a thing, it was posted more as a social media or like very casual. It wasn't like, you know, for most circumstances, there wasn't an expectation that you were going to end up with a huge following or you were going to have to worry about an audience, because at the time, YouTube and TikTok I don't think existed at the time. Vine, yes, you could become popular, and it was just starting to transform into like a place you could make a career off of, but also at the same time, like, that wasn't the expectation. Sorry, ma'am, I'm talking. That wasn't the expectation of going into it, was that was the point. So I think, excuse me. So I think that could foster, and that's a big issue in this topic, is the fact that she's way too parasocial with her audience and her fans, and I think that's why this incident happened anyway. And now thinking about it and sitting on the way I talked about it, yes, it's a shirt, and I made that point a lot, but now, like, having time to sit on what I talked about in my video and like processing it, and excuse me, and a lot of that stuff, I've sat back and reflected on it for a little bit, and I felt like when I was done filming that video, regardless of what came next, that sometimes it takes me a minute, I have to form my thoughts, I gotta think about it, I gotta process it. But looking back now, I did make a big deal about, like, oh, it's not a fucking shirt. And I did talk about a lot in my original video, and I'll try to include clips of, like, you are way too parasocial with your fans. The fact that I almost called them friends, because you are fostering an environment that they're gonna hold you to a higher expectation, and you are gonna lose your privacy, and they are gonna ask more of you because you do not have healthy boundaries. Granted, I still think it is fair that they're asking for accountability in your comments. I've just got out of the comment section. There's like within the first 5 comments, I didn't even have to scroll. I just opened it, and the first like 4 or 5 comments, it says, oh, sure, no accountability here, or maybe you should learn how to accountability. Or, and even in one, there was a screenshot of the original conversation about this whole thing and how out of touch he is. And I agree that she's very out of touch, but I think part of the reason why we are here, and I think Tana has struggled with this in the past, I think, is that you need a healthy boundary with your fans, because one, you could foster an environment where someone thinks they are your friend and they could come to your house and become like, could put you in danger or like encroach on your privacy because they never had that healthy expectation of a boundary. So now that I've had time to process like what I spoke about in my video, watching the most recent video that she posted and reacted to Tana, I feel like I'm adding to it the fact that I think the biggest issue in this whole scenario, minus the fact that she is way out of touch, and that this started with a fucking shirt, or a shirt that is quite honestly not the best shirt in the world, honestly. Girl, you could have found something better probably at the mall. And it's for New Year's one day. And so, anyway, she reacted to the video that Tana had posted and basically said something along the lines of that she really admired Tana and that she thought, she watched her.
There is probably nothing worse than somebody you've been a fan of for so long, like just jumping on the hate train and putting you down publicly. Like, I have been a fan of Tana Mojo since I was 16 years old. I've watched every single YouTube video, every single podcast episode, every TikTok, every YouTube video and podcast episode that she's been in of somebody else. I've watched everything she's ever put out. She makes me so happy, especially the past couple of years. Like, me and my best friend talk about how proud we are of her all the time. Like, I don't know, she just makes me so happy. I'm such a big fan of her, and it really, every time I see her face now on my TikTok, I just get sad because, like, I don't know, she talked shit about me like a bunch of times on the Canceled podcast, and honestly, like, I didn't really care when that happened, but the other day she made a TikTok about me, and it just felt like, it feels like she was just dogpiling onto me like the rest of the internet and kicking me while I was down. And she knows how much I love her, and she knows how much I remember in one of the Canceled podcast episodes, Brooke was literally like, she was like, Tana, stop. Like, Tara's a huge fan of us. Like, why are you saying all this? And I'm like, I don't know. It just also feels like recently she doesn't really have like any opinions of her own. It just feels like she takes the side of the majority of the people so that she doesn't get canceled, or it's just so sad. I've been a fangirl my whole life with like musicians and influencers, and I've never like experienced this before, and I think it's finally at the point where like I can't watch her things anymore because like it just makes me so sad. Everyone's been commenting like, what do you think about Tana's I'm like, I just feel sadness. Like, I don't know. She should know better than anyone else how the internet twists things and manipulates situations and blows things out of proportion, and for her to like kick me while I'm already down just to like stay on the people's good side and get a kiki and a laugh out of everyone, just like, I don't know, it just really upsets me.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna hate myself when I have to edit this all together. Okay, so I was talking about Taraswrld, and there was a specific point in the video. I couldn't get it up on I had to use my phone, which is what I film on. Anyway, so there was a specific part in the video that I wanted to say. She basically said that Tana and Brooke have covered her on Canceled and gave her shit and all that stuff before, and Brooke made a comment that, or this is Tara's recount of it, that Brooke made a comment that, oh, you can't say that because Tara is a fan of yours. Quite frankly, just because you are a fan of someone and you happen to be a creator too, doesn't mean the other creator can't criticize you. I'm sorry. And saying that she is dogpiling on you and kicking you while you're already down, quite frankly, you don't want to take accountability for a situation that is so ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, Tana's had her own out of touch moments and has, in my opinion, been there. Like, talk about the whole wine tour thing. Like, that was a thing. But, like, at the same time, it's like, my phone's gonna die. Oh my gosh. Quick, I'm gonna make this quick, because I gotta get this done. Before I lose my train of thought. Just because you are a fan of someone, you're a creator, they're a creator, doesn't mean they can't criticize you. Okay? Just like you can criticize Tana now that she is saying something about, like, because she said something about you. And quite frankly, regardless of Tana's controversies or where she's at now or whatever, the fact is the points she made in that video, hate her or like her, she had really good points about having healthy boundaries. The fact that you're a creator with enough money, you could have hired a stylist, you could have bought another shirt, you could have tried to source the shirt long before a week or I don't even think it was a week before New Year's if you wanted it that badly. So quite frankly, regardless, she made really good points in that video. And maybe if another creator is being like, hey, you're not necessarily in the right year and you need to reevaluate, maybe you should take that criticism, because it's not hate and it's not dogpiling, it's criticism, especially from a fellow creator that has a decent following and has been a creator for a really long time. And regardless that she knows you like her or not, she is not afraid to say the quiet part out loud. The fact that you should not be friends with your audience, and you should not be asking them for favors when you are in a place of power and you have more money and you could source that way easier than your fans, and you're taking advantage of your fans. That was it. She made really good points on that topic in that video, because I think she covered a few things in that video. Just because she makes criticism and she is fucked up herself doesn't mean it's invalid. And I think not just her, but your audience wants accountability. She's telling you, giving you basically advice and criticism as a fellow creator that has been there, done that, and being like, hey, set boundaries. You are in a place of power, trying to bring you back down to earth, okay? But you don't want to hear that from anyone. Your audience, your fellow creators. There are many other TikTokers, YouTubers that are being like, hey girl, this is not it. Like blissfully just ignoring it completely, but just completely bringing up that, trying to make your point valid. Quite frankly, just admit that you fucked up and step back and be like, hey, I need a moment to reevaluate where I stand with my fans and my audience, because quite frankly, that's always something you should have in the forefront of your mind, whether when you start. And if you didn't understand that those were boundaries at the start, understandably so, because when TikTok started, it was fostering an environment of like, you are like, we're all in this together, community, very casual thing. Now it has become where creators have made, a career off of it, and it has become a big thing for them. And those boundaries weren't necessarily in the beginning because no one at least a lot of people didn't expect to blow up. So like now you need to reevaluate how you interact with your audience. Be like, okay, I need to re-establish new boundaries and make this very thing. And I have looked up to fellow creators, both that have been there and done that, or, have always set healthy boundaries with their audience and have been very transparent about that. So their audience knows what the expectation is. And so me going into content creation, because this isn't the only video I'm filming, it's today even, like, because I want to go in content creation. I enjoy it. I like the commentary. I feel like I feel like I have something to add to it in a healthy way. But my biggest thing is like, anyone that views me an audience, I have boundaries. And there are things that I won't talk about on the internet publicly. There are, people in my personal life that, like, I'm maybe a public creator and I may be putting myself out there, but they didn't ask for it, they didn't want it. And my boundaries are, do not contact them, don't mess with them. I want my private life. And yes, I'm a creator. I like my audience. Obviously, I want to be friendly. I want to talk in the comments, but I do have my own boundaries, and I have looked up to fellow creators that have been doing this for a long time, because I want to learn from their mistakes and learn from the way they have handled the boundaries with their audience, and being like, oh, yeah, we can be friendly and all that, but you're not my best friend. You're not in my life. You don't know me every day. And maybe you should evaluate that. But I still have something to bring my audience. I have something to say and something I want to share, and I want, to bring positivity and, shed light on certain things and give my perspective, and also like have their perspective in my community. I'm speaking as someone that I haven't even posted my first video yet. I'm filming this before I haven't even launched my channel. Anyway, my point is like, if you didn't have those, if you didn't think that through, because I've been thinking about this for 2 years, seriously, for the last year, and how I would go about it, how I need to handle the financial side, how I need to approach my boundaries with my audience, how I want to react things, what things I'm willing to talk about and react to, and what things I don't want to touch, like that are just a boundary for me. And it's not because that, you know, I don't have opinions about them or I don't have criticism. It's quite frankly, there are some things that are not my place to talk about. And you have to think about those things going into it, or if you went into it and didn't think about those things, maybe it's time to step back, reevaluate, and set those expectations and those boundaries with your audience, and if they cross them, deal with it appropriately. You are getting, quite frankly, reasonable criticism from a creator that has been there and done that and has been in the field for a long time. I think Tana made really good points, regardless of whatever her controversies, whether you were a fan or not. She made really good points, and I think she would stand by them if you were her best friend or you're her hater. So, and I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna put the whole video I filmed in here, or if I'm gonna just do clips, because I messed up editing it, and maybe I'll just put this and then put clips of me reacting to the initial like footage. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but anyway, I just wanted to add that in because and another thing is, you're not gonna have longevity in a career where you are friends to 5 million people. You are gonna burn yourself out, or you're gonna lose your audience because the expectations aren't set appropriately. And that's all I have to say. So I am editing right now, and I have a couple updates. There's a video that Tana posted basically showing that it is possible to source the shirt. I am going to post that one right now, and I'll be back with the next video.
I really shouldn't be allowed to use my money or have free will. Outfit of the day. Outfit of the day. It's like, listen to me. I love For Love and Lemons as much as the next girl, but all that for this? I look like the fridge. And really, truly, I just wanted to prove a point. That's the problem, is once you get me fired up, I want to prove a point. And I found this top using my resources and my money in under 5 minutes. Like, no nurses were harmed in the making of me finding this top, okay? Now, who wants it? Because it's finna be in the trash can. This is what almost 30 looks like.
And point was proven. Anyway, and then Tara posted another video basically showing that she herself was able to source the shirt, which I think is a good thing. Wish she would have done it before this whole debacle, but anyway, here's that video.
I told you I had plans for the halter top. I told you I'd get it. And here we are. It's even better than I imagined. My trauma response, gone. My skin, cleared. My New Year's resolution, fulfilled, even if it's late January.
Anyway, that's all I have for this video. Wild ride. Something that was completely unnecessary, and I don't like the way she talked about the nurse through this whole thing, whether she was a nurse or not. I do think having someone that's more on her level like Tana, and someone that she looks up to like Tana, having input on this was very insightful, and I just wish she didn't automatically go to Tana jumping on the bandwagon. But that's all I've got. Thank you for watching, and I've enjoyed making this video, and have a good day.